So we talked a bit about the initiation in the myths, but let's jump to MM's questions and start straight from the first one. Was there anything that surprised you in the Finnish mythology while you were doing research for the deck and research you did?
Yeah, I think that that was surprising that we have so much of it, and it was very surprising to me that why didn't we study this at school for better? We did have a little class about Kalevala when we all had to try to read those old poems that we didn't understand at all. It was like strange language, like reading this and not getting it really well, yeah, and we didn't like study that, and I think that's such a richness that we have in Finland. It was very surprising for me to find out that the National Archive of Finland, where they have gathered the information from people, just the gatherers, they went from door to collect the stories there. Not only Kalevala, but other stuff too. There is so much that it's actually the biggest one in the whole world. That's what they said there to me, and I was like, really?
Do you know when they did collect those? What years were we living roughly?
Yeah, I do. It's about from the 1800s, the end side. Then there has been like this national romantic period of time when Axel Gallen-Gallela, the like national artist of Finland, who has already passed away, but he's pretty much the guy who has made pictures for Kalevalas and like made this Finnish folklore into paintings.
He died 1861, I think.
Yeah.
Around there. Yeah.
Around, yeah. So him and the others, they were collecting the stories, and it's been, yes, from the 19th century beginning and the 18th century the end. And actually the stories that I went through, the creatures, the supernormal creature stories, they were all from there. The oldest were from the 18th century, and the youngest were from the 60s.
1960s.
1960, yeah. And that's when it just stopped.
Yeah.
Then there was no information. Maybe one note from the 70s or something, but really, really not that much. And they have had this, like, the National Archive have made a collecting that they ask people to send us information that you remember about some subject. So there has been these like collecting happenings that so that they have. There's been the big ones were in, I think, 1931 or 2, and that's 1960.
Thank God they collected that.
Oh yeah, they have like
it's amazing.
There is this one closet there that's just full of Samuli Paulaharju, who is like the main collector. I think that he's one of the ones who dedicated his whole life to that, collecting the stories. There is all these his and his wife Jenny, the books that they had made. It's amazing. It's just so amazing that I think that you might think that I have done huge work myself, but I'm like, oh my God, these people have done it for me before. I had the easy part. I didn't have to do anything else than to go there and read.
They were going around Finland collecting it and writing it.
And buy food. They were walking everywhere. Just door to door, and just, I mean, and in the winter time when they couldn't collect the stories, well, they wrote them down and they made those books and so on. So, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was very surprising that there is so much information.
Then Emma was also asking, what's your favorite story from the Finnish mythology or folklore? If you have, can you choose a favorite child?
Well, yeah, I think that Väinämöinen, when he goes to that Vipunen's mouth, Antero Vipunen's mouth, I love that story because it just tells that the old wisdom is not lost. I think it's very like comforting,
Comforting.
Comforting, yeah. that the old wisdom is not lost. And also I like the little guy that comes from the ocean. In the Great Oak card, there is this little guy that comes from the ocean, and he can do anything. I love him. I love him because he just comes when it's the hardest situation that you don't know what the fuck to do now with the hell of a tree, and how am I gonna survive this? What am I gonna do? And then this little guy comes, and he can do it, and his stretch is as long as the tree is. Väinämöinen is first like, oh, you're so little, you can't do this. But he's like, no, I can. And he stretches and he cuts the tree, and he's just a hero. I think I would love to have one of my own, this little guy who would just
in the pocket.
Yeah, he could live here and just howdy ho.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
By the way, you said howdy ho. I have to say, kakkiaiset. They always make me think about Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poop. I don't know why, but every time I start to hear him singing.
Yeah. I'm gonna too now. For now on, yeah.
Then another question from What's something that you didn't expect from the tarot creation project?
Well, I didn't expect it to be like such a long journey, and such a like it felt like it never ends, and I wasn't bothered by that because I did like to do it, but still, how long did it take to get it all together and to just like have the ready package there? It's not like if you start today you're gonna be finished tomorrow. No, it's gonna take 7 years of your life. And like and still one thing that has surprised me even more is that I thought when I give this book the scripture of the book, and I give the paintings to my publisher, and he starts to process them and takes them to print and so on, so you would think that's it then. What's next? But no, it still hasn't stopped. I mean, it's just it feels like this book has that kind of an energy that it just happens to climb up some letters of its own. It's just going out there. And it's so surprising for me that like what kind of coincidence have happened with the book. For example, this that it's in the National Museum of Finland. They sell this there, and I mean, I wouldn't even have the gut to ask them. Would you like to have this here? No, but well, somebody had just given a little flyer about this, which is there was 2 pictures and 2 sentences of words, something little about this, and to the lady who is running the shop there, and she was like, without even seeing the cards or the book herself, oh, we're gonna have this for sale at the museum. And what's the funny thing is that I was in a Christmas market that time. I was selling books that my publisher had a little like place there, and I was there working, selling the books. So all of a sudden, some guy comes there, and he's like, oh, this is the Ukon Pakka, the Mythologia Fennica Tarot. This is gonna be in the museum for sale. He's talking to his friend, and I'm like, what? Sorry, what did you say? Yeah, and I started to introducing myself that I have made these, and what did you just say? Like what? And he's like, yeah, I work in the National Museum of Finland, and we just talked this today that we're gonna have this, and now he's there at my Christmas stand, and I'm like, wow. And I was like, wow, this is super exciting and everything. And so he went to work, and the next day the lady from the museum, she came there to meet me as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. But just because some flyer, somebody gave some flyer somewhere, and then
the
some things
synchronicities
happen.
are so weird. When you start, getting mixed with this woo-woo spiritual world, things just happen.
Things just happen.
But I think I was so proud when I was in Watkins bookstore in London, and I saw, there it is. That's Finnish. Kalevala, go Susanna, go Finland. I take the pride. I didn't do anything. But I still feel the pride that we have a creation like this. And then it's stuck up in a great bookstore in London, for example. It's amazing.
Yeah. We went there actually ourselves to that bookshop. There we went and say like, do you want this? Yeah. So I'm gonna say it now. If anybody wants to have this for sale, it's available. Yeah, you can.
Good.
Because
and people have been asking, and sometimes I've even instructed people how to order at least 3 times. I've said them to contact the publisher, or then if that doesn't, and then you can buy it on the Salakirjat website.
Yes.
It's available there.
Yeah.
But then also people can contact different tarot stores if it's issue of customs or whatever, and you can also ask your local store to get this.
Yeah, for sure. We can put some information on this video, the links of the shop, and I'll give my email address as well, so if anyone wants to contact me or ask anything, I could be reachable. Yeah.
So do check out the description box, but we're not done yet. We're going to continue. Then the last question from MM. Why did you choose tarot, not an oracle, for example?
Well, I did start with an oracle because it was much easier. I did like to keep going one step at a time. I couldn't think of all the things at one time when I was beginning. So I started with an oracle card deck. I thought it's gonna be about Finnish mythological creatures and the animals and the shamanistic stuff. But then it just kind of, years gone by, and it started to be clear to me that it's gonna be a full deck, because I was like, I can't leave Tuonelan tyttö, what is it, the maid of Tuonela?
The maiden
of Tuonela, yeah. I can't leave her out. I mean, what deck would it be? It's the cover.
It's that one.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. And I just had to spread myself and challenge myself. Oh yes, I had a little moment that time when I was like, oh, this is gonna be ready real soon. Oh, it's not gonna be ready real soon. Yeah, I had a little moment. Yeah. But I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna I had thought that my journey had been over before it was, but it didn't take that many years after that to really be ready.
Many years. Then if we continue with the myths in Kalevala, Lady Alchemilla was asking that how challenging was it to fit the myths from the Kalevala into the archetypes of the major arcana, and did you find any particular cards especially difficult if we think about the majors?
Majors, yeah. It was sometimes easy, sometimes not. Sometimes I felt like this archetype is so clear, and I had no trouble with that. But sometimes, oh yes, I had trouble because I wasn't sure, for example, who would be the higher priestess of the deck. I thought of Louhi, who is now the empress. Yeah. But then I thought of her that, she's running a whole big village. He's her own village in Pohjola.
Yeah.
And she's a matriarch there, and I mean, she just got to be that empress because she has her own kingdom there, or queendom, what is it? Yeah. So it's not gonna be Louhi. Then I was thinking, well, maybe Louhi's daughter, the maiden of Pohjola, the girl. But no, she has no skills. I mean, the higher priestess, she should have like some skills of some kind of like natural skills or. But no, it's not that one. But then I was discussing about these problems with my publisher, who is also very, he knows about Kalevala. So he then said that why don't you put just like Lemminkäinen's mother there, because she is actually very much like she's a healer and she's very intuitive and she's like running around talking to trees and I mean she's like that.
Yeah.
And I felt like oh yeah, then I just felt the good feeling when you know that you're making a puzzle and you're missing a piece and then you get it like there it is. That was the feeling when I was like yes, that's it. But many times I felt like oh, this puzzle is just there's like that and so many, but I figured it out so that well I'm gonna start with those that I feel most easy on, and then I would just leave the others for later, because when I got along in the process, then there was always more that was easy. Now that was not easy half a year ago, but now oh yes, I just read about this and now yes I know, and then I'm gonna do this. So
and I think that many people when they see first time the high priestess and the empress cards here, Lemminkäinen's mother and Louhi, because Louhi, she looks such a badass.
Yeah.
She has this shamaness vibe. So I think that's why people instantly, when they just look at the picture, they get the vibe that she should be the high priestess. But that's why, and what I always say to people when I talk about the Mythologia Fennica, nobody should just get the deck. If you want to work with this, because we have a book in English which is to me mind-blowing, amazing that you did that, and even for Finns, because even the Ukonpakka, the Finnish version, isn't clear without the book. So then when you read the stories, you get deeper than just the images, and then you understand why Louhi is the empress. She's kind of a badass empress, but still.
Yeah, and she's a witch too. I mean, they pretty much all are. I mean, they all have some kind of supernatural skills there. But yeah, and actually I was talking with my publisher and he said that this English book is it's like the widest represent of Finnish myths that have been published in English so far.
Okay,
He said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's wrong or right, but that's what he said. So
could be.
Yeah. So it's I guess that he meant maybe there is, I mean, larger books, there might be like the whole Kalevala is translated to many languages, but maybe he meant that in this book, because there is so much information of all kinds of things of Finnish mythologia, it's such a package, so that's what he said.
And I think it's an amazing job that it's also available in English. And so then Barb is asking, and I have to read this side note that Barb's family is Scandinavian and they've moved to US and they haven't shared their stories to Barb, and that's why she's asking that I'd love to know if the mythical characters were present through your growing up years as tales, or were they just studied in school?
Yeah, they have been in my childhood. There are books, children books that have these creatures, and I loved them when I was a kid. But they're not really studied in school, and I think that's a shame. I don't know how about now. At least when I was in school, there was not at all. Although it would have been a great subject for when you have your drawing studies there, or you have a story writing class or something. Why won't we use what we have?
You could use it in all the school topics as a theme for a whole year, for example.
Yeah, just to lift up the good spirit of Finland. And I think it was very surprising that many Finnish people, they think that Finland is about ice hockey and eating sausages and then going to sauna
and drinking
beer and such. But that's really not it at all. There is such a fantastic layer of myths that we have, and us Finns, we don't know them.
Oh.
Not
So
many of them.
why could you?
Yeah. So they were not really studied at school, not enough at least. They could have been. They could have been.
And I know nowadays they still they have children's Kalevala and cartoon Kalevala, so that's a bit better, but that could be studied more in school, definitely.
Yeah, I want to show you this one book. We'll put better pictures, I hope.
Yeah.
But for example, this book is about these creatures. There is this, like, the creatures of the water, the creatures of the air, and all kinds of old spells that are related with something like fishing or making some things. And there is Nakki actually too in the oh my god, yeah. So this kind of books they do have now. I think nowadays more and more of these Finnish folklore books are published, and that's a good thing because
people should only read them.
Yeah, I have many like these. I love them, that they're actually made for children, but I'm a childish woman, so why couldn't I read some children books too? I felt so fascinated. And actually when I started to make research for the deck, I started with children's books. I went to library and I went to the searching machine on the computer, and I went like with some keywords trying to find what books they might have. Every one of them came from the children's side or the youngsters' side. I was really surprised. Why don't they make anything about this subject for the adult? Because, you know, why is it just children's tales? Why isn't it adults' tales? But I went through them all and I loved them.
But let's hope that also the grown-ups will start get more interested about our heritage and the mythology in our country, not just around the world.
It's funny that some Finns are like, oh, I love Vikings, and why not? I mean, I love Vikings too, but still that they might not know that we have our own legends too.
Yeah.
And like some, I'm a Buddhist and I go to India and I start to study the Indian mythology, but like, how about Finnish? Yeah.
But I think there's also one issue. What I've encountered that it's not easy to find. As a Finn in Finland, a good place where to start studying our roots, our mythologies. I know more about ancient Egypt or things like that. So I can
although
relate.
they are also very interesting.
They are.
It's not that sure. It's nice to read all kinds of myths.
Yeah, but they are easier to reach.
I
mean, than the Finnish myths.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm thinking this is gonna change in the near future.
Well, you're changing it already.
Yeah, I have a gut feeling that it's gonna change now.
I'm gonna do my best. Preach the word. Then let's jump to Kelsey's question. What was the process like to put the Kalevala into the tarot practice we so commonly see? How did you decide the names and how to change it to connect with the Finnish folklore?
Many of the names are just like, I think that some people have been wondering why does it seem like the English cards have so many names in Finnish, but the reason is that they can't be translated that easy because they might be some like kakkiaiset. We don't have a maybe Christmas book hanky with them,
but you can look my video where I open my Finnish deck. It's impossible to try to translate those into English.
But we went so that the names. I went so that the names are from Kalevala mainly. Those cards that are related with Kalevala. The names are the same as we can think of the beginning card. It's the beginning poem of Kalevala, and it's named the beginning in Kalevala. And for the lamentation of the boat, there is a story about that kind of a boat that's crying and that's just it. That's how I decided the names, but I can imagine that they might be pretty harsh at first, because they are Finnish, most of them are Finnish, and how to even pronounce them right, it could be challenging. But well, I'm actually making videos at my channel that I just go through the cards and explain a little bit about them, and I want to do it just also because of the names, so that they wouldn't be so hard, so that you would hear how to say this Lemminkäinen or Väinämöinen or Kalevala. How are they said in Finnish?
Again, linked in the description box.
Yeah.
Then in here in the questions, I don't know if we asked this already by Carol, but Carol was also asking about how long did it take to create all of the artwork and which card was the most difficult. So we touched upon the time frame, but did we talk about the most difficult card already?
The picture.
Yeah, to paint.
There were several that were maybe a bit harder for me, because I was like, it's such a big myth, that what am I gonna, like, what would be the main thing that would just, put together the whole myth? And so that I wouldn't have to draw like tons of people all the time and gathering in, like go a bit easier sometimes, which is something symbolizing something. So there were pretty hard ones, but I don't know, I didn't feel like any of them would be like really super hard, or even the hardest. I think some of them were a bit more, I had to think a bit more, and some of them came like just like that.
Then to Boy Diviner's questions. What were the best and worst parts of this creation process of the deck?
I think the best part was the whole process, because it was so, it went through my whole life. I did use this as a tool to go through my own problems and my own challenges that I had, and also the people that I knew. I was changing all this, what happening to me or somebody else. I was always like trying to find out what would be the meaning of this. Why is this happening? And trying to like search the subject and go through it. So it was very like, I loved that. What was the question again?
The best and worst parts of the creating of tarot deck.
Yeah, that was the best part. I don't know if there was a worst part. Really, at least I don't remember. Maybe might have forgotten that.
It's taken so long already that you don't remember.
Time makes your memories very, goldens your memories. Yeah, but I think maybe one of those very hard parts was that really to understand that it's ready now, to put the last dot there and close your computer and just that's it. That was that felt really weird, because I had been living with the process for 7 years.
It's gonna leave a gap.
Yeah, and I felt like I have given everything from myself into this book, and now strangers are gonna read it. I'm like, what are they gonna think? Oh my god! And like, what if nobody cares? And what if they are like, well, whatever, she's done this something. Blah, 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 blah. And that was really like what I went through when it was ready, and also like thinking of going in front of people and having to challenge myself and go to some on the stage to have a speech to a bunch of people sitting there, and those have been really challenging. But it's been after the set is already been published. But but also I'm a type of a person who loves challenges. So I just take my little the little man, the little black guy, and I speak to him like, okay, we can do it. That's what I did this morning. I was talking to that little guy that we can do it. Yeah.
It's a great attitude.
Mm.
Great attitude. He was also asking about similar topics on creating the cards and fitting the images. It's hard, but we covered that one already. And then I'm gonna leave that last question to later, and that one's looking to the future. But then questions all the way from Brazil, from Saturnarium.
Hi Saturnarium, I love your channel. I've been watching your videos.
Brazil fans here in Finland. Your favorite card in the deck that you created?
My favorite card, maybe the Raven. I love it. I have even a tattoo, kind of the same kind of a raven in my neck, because that's one of those cards that I felt like it was maybe most me, for to be independent and to dare to want things and to say that, you know, I choose this, I choose that, I don't choose that, even though you don't like it. That's been difficult for me, because I've been always a very kind person, and it's hard for me to say no sometimes, but I have been learning a lot. And Korpi is in my neck to remind me, back here, he's reminding there that, you know, you can, and it's okay to be a little bit selfish sometimes and think of your own needs and your own will and what you really want. That's one of my favorite cards. And another one, of course I love them all, but another one is the Wolf's Pride. That too is something so very me, that energy that, you know, she just has to be herself. And even though everyone around her are like, that girl is crazy and we will burn her as a witch because he's running with the wolves and such, but she still does it. I mean, she won't obey to these people, and I think that's one of my favorites too. Because when I was making these cards, it was not always easy to, you know, people would think that I'm crazy. I have been having this a lot, that they're like, what did you say that you do? And
yeah, very Finnish reaction, very Finnish.
Much like, oh my god, you must be crazy and such. And I was like, well, you'll see when it's ready. And I just got more power, you know, that I'm gonna show those motherfuckers. Yeah.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
In Finland we have this thing called sisu, and that was a great example of sisu.
Yeah, the little guy is actually sisu as well. It's a strength that you just go through the wall if it don't open.
Yeah, it's a Finnish God spirit.
Yeah.
But then she was also asking Saturnarium how you came up with the system and the process, but we talked about the Oso-sen already, and then also the most difficult card, but you couldn't point out to any that was the most difficult. So then I think we've covered the creative process and talked about the mythology, the creating and your background. So what about now? There were Boy Divider and then also MM were asking about the future projects. Anything going on right now?
Oh yeah, actually is. I'm making a book right now. It's gonna be Finnish. It's gonna be cards as well. Something that you can use with this Ukon Pakka, the Mythologia Fennica. It's kind of a second, not a second version, but something.
A sequel type of?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's gonna be translated in English though, but I hope so. I have a new publishing house at the moment, so I don't know, because I haven't worked with them yet, what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna make the book ready and see what goes on. I'm thinking that they might be interested in translating it into English or something like that. because it's related with the Finnish myths and the Kalevala and all this. It's more about the maybe roots, even deeper down to the roots. That one.
Is it going to be a tarot or an oracle?
I'm guessing an oracle this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that would make a nice duo.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is that you could use them side by side. That
Yeah.
they would like, miten niinku vahvistaisi toisiaan, täydentäisi toisiansa niinku.
So they would reinforce each other and
yes, that something that's missing here is gonna be there, and something that's missing there is already here.
And then
So
at least they would be visually nice looking, because sometimes when you pair tarot with oracle, people tend to choose decks that also visually look good together. You don't choose a pink unicorn deck with the vampire deck, for example, and things like that. So, any other projects on top of that?
Well, I have made a deal with an Italian publishing house about this deck and book that's gonna be translated in Italy and published in Italy. I think this year, but I'm not actually sure because the coronavirus and everything things are always a little bit hanging on the air. But it's already been translated and so.
Bellissima! Good news to Italy.
And I hope that after that one, there might be other translations too, because Italy goes easy to Spanish or other languages, more easy than Finnish. That's a harder one to translate.
Okay guys, it's time to draw the giveaway winner for the Mythologia Fennica Tarot deck and the book. And Susanna was kind enough that she signed the book and the deck. So I thought that would be a nice add up for this giveaway. I want to thank each and every one of you who joined, asked your questions. It was really nice to have you being part of that interview with Susanna. And once again, thank you, Susanna, so much for giving your time to us and sharing your experience. I think that it gave quite a lot of depth and understanding for many of the viewers to see how deep the cards actually go. And I highly recommend for everybody who's interested on deepening their knowledge on the Mythologia Fennica Tarot to go to Susanna's own YouTube and look at those videos that she is making and contact her. If you want to have a reading from her done with the Mythologia Fennica Tarot, that information is in the description box. If you want to just send her an email, ask questions, whatever. And then there's also all of Susanna's social medias, the difference, because she has those in Finnish and in English. And the English Instagram is just brand new. So even though there's no content yet, go and follow it and the content will come later on. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I hope you got answer to your questions and we can continue the discussion down in the comment box. But now, let's draw the giveaway winner. This time I put all the names in the little pouch and I'm gonna be drawing from here. It's always a boring old school when I do giveaways. This feels good. So, and the winner is Kelsey Oki. So, congratulations, Kelsey. Please send me an email, fierceandpretty@gmail.com, with your information for the shipping and the Mythologia Fennica book and deck. signed by Susanna will be coming your way. And if the rest of you bunch who asked the questions, who didn't win at this giveaway, if you wish to have an art card, also signed by Susanna, send me your address also in my email, fierceandpretty@gmail.com, and I will see the first bunch who sends the address. I will be shipping these art cards, to as many as I can. But I will be shipping these in the order that I get the addresses, and continue that as long as I have cards left. So congratulations, Kelsey. Thank you everybody for joining in, and we still have a little part of the interview left, so stay tuned until the end. So thank you, Susanna. This was an incredible honor for me to meet you and have this opportunity to discuss with you, and thanks for coming as a guest to my teeny tiny channel, and thanks to you guys for sending your questions. And if you want to read Susanna, the information is down below.
Yeah.
And I also shared your feedbacks, how you like the deck with Susanna.
Sure, I'm always interested in how people like it, and you know what they think of it. That's interesting to me. Sure, yeah. And thank you for my side as well. This is very nice. I've been waiting for this and reading your questions and just thinking, and it's such a nice thing to say hi to all of you. I love you guys, and I hope we meet someday.
And I'll be back with the Naki story and everything.
That's a nice idea.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks. Until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.